Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I thought in this week's video we could kind of take it back to basics because I know we've kind of been doing some other fun things like having Sean in 2 different videos. So I thought that we could kind of bring it back to Resin 101 and do kind of an experiment. So I know that you guys, or some of you guys in the comments, say that I use too much white ink or I use too much ink in general, and I would have to agree with you. But like, I just have no control. I love alcohol ink and I love just like making a crazy mess with it. So I thought what we could do today was have 3 separate pieces where we do different amounts of alcohol ink in each one, like different amounts of white alcohol ink. So there'll be like a very small amount on the first one, a little bit more in the second one, you get the picture, and a lot in the last one. So we can kind of see what it'll look like when you use a certain amount of alcohol ink and figure out if there's like a sweet spot where the alcohol ink, or like the white alcohol ink at least, because when you use a lot of white alcohol ink it can get like a little crazy and like you'll get like white spots and it's just too much, it's oversaturated. So I feel like I'm talking really fast, so sorry if that's too much for you, but I'm like excited to like have the camera to myself again, because when I'm with other people it kind of makes me nervous and I'm like, who am I? Who am I supposed to say? What are we doing here? So I'm just excited to like be by myself. Can you tell I'm an introvert? So yeah, I just kind of want to see if there is like a sweet spot where there's like the perfect amount of alcohol ink and white alcohol ink and it makes the most beautiful combination of the two and it's not oversaturated or anything. So if you are interested in seeing where the sweet spot is, then continue watching. Am I really gonna leave that like that? I hope so. Okay, so very quickly first before we get into it, I just want to show you what exactly I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using these silicone molds that I got off of Amazon. These are in the Amazon link in my description. They come in like a big like rectangle that's set up like this. I just cut the rest of it off because it's, I feel like I say this in every video every time I use these, but I just cut the excess off because it's just like too much in my desk. So then we're also going to be using the Jacquard White Pinata alcohol ink. And then for the colored alcohol ink, we're going to be using probably the Brea Reese alcohol inks. And then for the resin I'm going to be using, like I use in literally every single project. Oh my god, are you guys seeing what I'm freaking out about? You get 10 seconds to figure out what, 10 seconds is a long time. You get 5 seconds to figure out what I'm freaking out about. Okay, I don't feel like waiting 5 seconds because it's not that big of a deal, but my hair literally matches like the color scheme of the bottle. I bet all of you are rolling your eyes like, is she freaking serious? Yes, unfortunately I am. So we're gonna be using the CounterCultureDIY casting resin like I do in every single one of my projects. It's my tried and true. It's the resin of my life. So I also have the link to this down in my description. There's a code if you want to save some money on it, but anyway, the link is down in the description if you want to check it out, and that is the resin we're going to be using. And of course, don't forget, I almost just dropped it, don't forget to use your respirator fully equipped with the filters that are for fumes, and gloves, because honestly resin is literally like sap. I thought of this the other day. Do you remember like as a kid just getting sap all over your hands? Or was I just like alone in that? Why did I have sap on my hands all the time? I feel like resin reminds me of sap. When you get it on your hands, it's just like the worst sticky feeling. So gloves, please, and thank you. And then to pop bubbles, I'm going to be using my heat gun. I almost said respirator again. Definitely not going to be using a respirator to pop bubbles. We're going to be using our heat gun. This is also in my Amazon, I almost said Amazon wish list. My brain is like on Christmas stuff right now. I'm going to be using this I'm going to be using this heat gun. It's down in my Amazon list, down in the description. And I believe that is everything besides like popsicle sticks and cups. So let's jump into this experiment. Okay, you guys, so I'm sure you noticed in the time lapses and everything that I decided to do more than 3. I wanted to kind of make this experiment a little bit bigger, just because I didn't think that 1 layer of alcohol ink versus 2 versus 3 would be that wildly different. So I added on a few more, and I decided, because I remember that I get comments sometimes about what it looks like to not add any white. So I added one of those on, and then I added like a little weird different one. So I want to kind of go through them with you. I know that you guys just saw some close-ups of them. So the no white alcohol ink one came out, honestly, this is one of my favorites. Like this against a window, I'll show you a clip right now. It is so beautiful. It's just, I can't get over it. I'm so surprised. You guys are geniuses as usual, but this is just so pretty. It made like such a beautiful rainbow, and this would be perfect for Christmas ornaments, because I feel like when you put this on the tree and the lights like are behind it, oh my goodness, it's gonna be so freaking pretty. Oh my goodness, I wonder what it would look like to have like the sun beam through it, and it'll hopefully make like rainbow spots on the wall. Ooh! So we'll talk about the 2 like weirdish ones first, and then we can talk about the different layers. So the other weird one I did was like 1 layer of white alcohol ink first, and then all the colored ink after. And this one came out so pretty as well. Like, I love that wispy kind of look. It looks like fog or like clouds. This one actually does look like clouds. It kind of looks like a rainbow with clouds. I actually don't know what made it do this like spot in the middle where there's no white alcohol ink, because I'm pretty sure I put it all over the piece, but this one came out so pretty. So this is a really cool technique if you're trying to avoid getting spots to the front. You know how like when you put a lot of like drops of white alcohol ink, it'll have spots that come to the front, like kind of like how this one does. So if you want to avoid that, but you still want to get some white alcohol ink in there, because that's white alcohol ink is what makes it drip to the front, and that's why this is all like kind of on the back side of it rather than dripping to the front of the piece. So this one is really, or this technique is really cool to be able to get white alcohol ink without getting any of like the spots that you might get from like regular drips of alcohol ink. Okay, so now we'll kind of go down the line of the different layers of alcohol ink that we did. So this was 1 layer of alcohol ink, and I think this one is really pretty. It's not my favorite. It's not the sweet spot for me, but it is really pretty. We still got, even though I did 1 layer of white alcohol ink, we still got some spots that like dripped to the front. And that may just be because in the drip itself, I added too much, because I do use these little like plastic, I guess they're called pipettes. But so this might drip too much. So if you could find, if you're trying to avoid these like big spots or like adding too much white, you could try to find little like piping things that are even smaller than this one. I get these off of Amazon. I love them and I think they work for me, but if you are trying to avoid a little bit less, then maybe try to find a smaller, like an even smaller dropper. This one also did that thing in the center where it like didn't have any white alcohol ink, which is actually really interesting when you think about it, because they're both 1 layer of white alcohol ink. The only difference is this one, the white alcohol ink went first and then all the colors went in after, and then this one was 1 layer of white alcohol ink, but it went like colors and then white alcohol I can't talk, alcohol ink. So it's interesting that these two being 1 layer came out the same or similar looking. So for me, my sweet spot is probably 2 layers of white alcohol ink, because I just love how this came out. Again, like I know that I have some spots. The white spots in pieces don't bother me. I know they bother some people and some people try to avoid them. They don't bother me that much. I actually kind of like when it does that, but in some of my pieces anyway. But I do think this one came out so pretty. It's just like, again, it's a lot of like the white wispiness that I the white wispiness that I really love in the alcohol ink pieces. but this one just like has the same effect that this one has, but in the white is also the color, rather than in that other one it's just kind of like the white that's wisping around. In this one it's like the colors and the white are all like wisping around. It's like whispers of color. So I think for me, this is my sweet spot. 2 layers of white alcohol ink is what I really love. And then we'll get into like number 3, which obviously is 3 layers of white alcohol ink. This is also pretty, but you definitely get, like, compared to the 2-layered one, which is this one here, and then this is the 3-layered one, I do feel like you get more white spots in the 3-layered one rather than this one. This one, with the 2 layers of white alcohol ink, is, to me, has more of the like wispiness again, but this one does look more colorful, and obviously that does mean that since there are more layers of white, that means that there's more layer of the colors. So it does make sense that this would be a little bit more vibrant in color rather than this one, because it only has 2 layers of color as well. And then the last one, I'm surprised, because I do feel like 3 and 4, they're not all crazy different. They're very like they slowly get more and more different. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not crazy different from the last one. So, like, for a millisecond here, I was like, wait, which one is which? So this is the 3-layered piece, and this is the 4-layered piece. And I love, okay, for like a second, let's talk about the back of the 4-layered piece. Oh my god, that is so pretty, right? But I think you can definitely tell that in this one, with the 4 layers of white alcohol ink, that there is a lot of white alcohol ink. It's very saturated. Both of these are pretty similar in, you know, how saturated they are with white alcohol ink, but this one I feel like you can really tell. It's totally up to you how much ink you want to put, and you can even, like we, you know, showed at the beginning, you don't have to put any. You can put it first. I mean, you could do 5 layers, you could do 6 layers if you wanted to. I thought that that would be too much and they would all kind of just start to look a little muddy, but it is interesting to look at these two together. In my opinion, I prefer the layer 4 over the layer 1. I know that, like, I'm a little extra in the amount of alcohol ink that I put, and you guys are always asking me to put less, and that's why I did the other ones, but I don't know, man. I just love, like, the explosion. Like, doesn't that just look like a firework? A rainbow firework, basically. So that was my white alcohol ink experiment. I'm actually really happy I did this, not only for you guys, but for myself too, because I never knew what, like, my sweet spot was, just because when I go in to make a piece, I just kind of feel it out and I just go for it, rather than like planning, okay, I'm gonna do 3 layers of white and 3 layers of color, you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually really happy I did this. 2 layers is my favorite. Let me know what your favorite is, or if it's like, I mean, this is so beautiful. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that it helped you out and helped you figure out where you might want to start, because so many people don't really know where to start with alcohol ink, like how many layers and all that. So I hope this helped you out. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and following me on Instagram. It is at Artsymadwoman. I don't know where my hand went. All of a sudden I'm Ariana Grande. Oh, and you know what I realized in the last couple of videos when I was editing them? I did not say my closing, I love you guys to absolute death, in the last 2 videos. So I love you guys to absolute death times 3. That's 3. I love you guys to absolute death. You guys are incredible. I'm so thankful for you guys. I just want to periodically say that I'm so grateful that you guys care and that you're here. It is crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to turn this video into like a thank you guys so much. But I will see you guys on the next video, and I love you and I'm so grateful for you, and I don't know why I said I was going to see you on the next video first, but I'm going to see you on the next video. Bye!